Welcome to the Dental Forecast. Join Dr. Craig Packer, Dr. Joe Field, and their incredible guests as they expand on the Gen4 commitment to usher in the next generation of dentistry. Stay with us as we delve into cutting-edge techniques and discussions shaping the future of dental care, right here on the Dental Forecast.
All right, welcome everybody to the Gen4 Dental Podcast. Excited for today's guest. I'll let Craig do the introduction, but this is where we get to kind of flex who we are with Gen4 and some of the incredible people we have within our organization. So those dentists listening that aren't part of Gen4, I apologize. You do not have a Shiela, but we do. And you're going to find out why that's important.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Super excited to have with us Shiela Fazelli today. She's the Director of Patient Experience at Gen4 Dental Partners. And Shiela and I have been with Gen4 since founding, right? April of 2021. Yeah. It's been great. She's been to our office. She came and flowed through and helped arrange things, just did some decorating. We did like a big cleaning weekend to make sure the patient experience was exactly how it was supposed to be. Flew all the way in to help us with that. So it's been super great to work with Shiela over the years. And Shiela, I'm going to give you a chance, if you don't mind, to kind of give us a little bit of your background and how you ended up where you are today. And then we'll just kind of go from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Well, my background actually started in the medical field, and I've been in the dental space now for about 15 years. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach with a degree in hospital administration, and I've worn many hats from office manager to HR, marketing, regional director, overseeing several practices. And more recently, I've stepped into the world of patient experience. And my goal now is just to support and protect our providers and training our teams on how to create the best patient experience from start to finish.
I love that you call it the patient experience. And, you know, in your opinion, so when does the patient experience really start?
Yeah, I think it actually begins before a patient even walks through the door. I mean, it starts with how they hear about you, your online presence, community reputation, your referrals. Then after that, I would really say it's how the very first phone call is handled. Are your team members warm? Are they knowledgeable? Do they speak really highly of the provider? Do they know what sets your office apart? Like that first interaction, I feel like really sets the tone for trust and comfort.
So what do you think does help create that connection before the patient even calls? Like there might be a new patient who's never heard of my office or Joe's office. So how do they feel connected to us from the very beginning?
Yeah, I think that's such a great question. And I was actually just talking the other day about this, how, many people want to be a part of the decision now on choosing who their provider is. We've really gone away from the days where our insurance provider would choose, who we're going to be seeing, and their name would just be written on the card. And that's the doctor that we would see. And so having a really good online presence and having personal bios on your website is a great start, because patients can then go, research and figure out, who you are and what you're about. And then they feel like they're a part of that decision. And people want to know you. They want to know you beyond your credentials. And in this day and age, I mean, it's kind of crazy, but they want to know what you had for lunch. They want to know what your hobbies are. What do you do on the weekends? Whether you're a 49ers fan or you love fly fishing. These details really help patients see you as a person that they can connect with.
So it sounds like, Joe, she may have just researched us from the Bay Area. And I love to fly fish, and you're a 49ers fan. So.
Well, but it's funny, Craig, and Shiela, you mentioned this, like the world's gotten a lot smaller, right? And, the ability for patients to find the provider that they connect with is completely different than it was even 10 years ago. I mean, Craig, I don't know how you feel about social media. I personally don't love it. But I recognized a while ago, it's like, this is how people find the people they want to be with, right? And that includes healthcare providers, interestingly enough. So I guess, Shiela, what are some of the overlooked details that, in your opinion, really help enhance this patient experience?
So I think some things that, just being like looking on the Google and Yelp platforms, like hearing from the patients in different, forums. We've seen a lot of reviews come through where patients, are wanting to be greeted by name when they arrive. They want you to know who they are. And so we've seen patients share their experience where, the doctor comes in, looks at the x-rays, talks to their team member, and just asks the patient to open their mouth, right? So, I mean, that's one extreme, but it's really important to patients to feel known and that they're not just another number. And on top of that, I would say remembering the little things. Like if a patient told you about a vacation or a big soccer game, I would make a note and have your team help remind you, oh, they just celebrated a birthday, or, they just had a vacation they came back from, and using those different resources to really be able to help. And I guess, again, that comes back to the team alignment, right? Make sure everyone knows why the patient's there and what we're doing.
In our office too, the patients, they seem to love it if you can say, hey, how was that trip to Hawaii that you took last time? They're like, seriously, you see so many people and you remembered that I went to Hawaii. And sometimes you do have a note of it. Sometimes you really do remember, I guess, but it means a lot to them. I think they feel like they're part of the family.
It's like dating, Craig. Like it's,
Yeah.
you'll remember all these little things, right? And it matters.
Yeah, it does 100%. Seem to matter to them. That's great.
And even thanking them, I feel like, for the referrals that they've sent. Oh, thank you so much, kind of bringing that full circle back of like, hey, thanks so much for telling Sue about us, and thanking them for that effort that they put out too. So yeah, all of that I think is so important, that connection.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so here's a good question for you. I hope it's a good question. So as dentists, we do this every day. Like we live dentistry, people come in, whether I'm drilling on this person's tooth or this person's tooth. Sometimes it's a family member, sometimes it's someone I've never met before. But to me, once you kind of get started, you're just in the zone and you're just doing your thing, So sometimes I don't think we realize what it's like to be on the patient side of things. So what is it that we're not seeing as dentists that might be frustrating for a new patient that, we don't even really know what we don't know?
What I've seen, a lot of the feedback that comes back is patients often get frustrated when everything feels repetitive. So they'll share their concerns over the phone and then on the forms, and then they'll do it, to the front office. Then they'll explain it to the assistant, and then they have to again, tell the doctor. So by the time the treatment starts, they feel like no one was listening. And so I feel like a seamless handoff where each team member picks up where the last one left off. It really tells the patient we got you and we're listening, and that builds trust fast.
We're not just checking the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Because we're trained to be very technical, we'll call it that, right?
Yeah.
And we're all about systems and processes and operations. And so what is it that we as dentists can and should do to really prepare our team for these new patient visits and experience?
I would say a great doctor-led huddle makes all the difference, where the team will review the next day's schedule, they'll flag the new patients, know the reasons why they're visiting, the insurance is checked, the financials are ready to go, and making sure that there's a team member assigned to greet them by name. So when the team's prepared, the patient feels valued from the start. And I think that's really important. And a lot of times, some of these huddles that are happening, the doctor's not there for. And so when the doctor's present for the huddle and everyone's talking at the same time, as far as the accountability of the schedule and who's coming and what we're doing, I feel like that really makes all the difference.
Can you give me an example of when you've seen in specific offices, you don't give names, although it'd be fun to call people out. But no, this is a good thing. Like, can you give me an example of where you've seen that be the most effective and the impact that that's had?
Ooh, I really don't want to call out a specific office, but what I can say
Let's do it. Come on. Why not?
As long as it's not mine or Joe's.
I know, right?
What I can say is I've seen it where the best huddles are when each team member is responsible for something. So the hygienist is talking about their schedule, front office is talking about the finances, and everyone's accountable for their part, and the doctor's involved as well. Those are the best huddles that I feel like I've seen overall, where everybody has a piece of the pie, and it's not just all right, guys, we got to click through this right now just to get our credit and watch this like 1 minute daily motivational like video. It's really, doctor wants to know who's coming and why are they coming and how are we prepared. So when those doctors really lead it, I feel like it's really, really productive.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so you mentioned a handoff earlier on, and how sometimes if we're making them repeat themselves over and over and over again, it can be frustrating to them. So a handoff or a trust transfer going from team member to team member, or from like the hygienist to the doctor, like how can we make sure as doctors that that is happening, in a positive way that the patient can feel and recognize?
I think the best way that the patient, will feel like it's a good handoff is when you involve them also. So, for example, if we're going to be doing a handoff from doctor to hygienist, I would, at that point, the doctor would say, Sally came in today. She has a toothache on the right, and she really wants to take care of that before she goes to her, out of town next week. And then coming back to the patient and saying, Sally, did I miss anything? And just closing that loop and making sure that the patient's involved and that everyone is on the same page. And I think it really helps demonstrate and reassures the patient nothing was overlooked. And then also it really helps close treatment. If the patient understands what's next and they don't have any further questions, then scheduling treatment becomes the next logical step. So you're really helping your production as well.
I've had times when they came down to get me because, I have to run upstairs for most of my exams. Our office doesn't flow like a normal dental office because it's in an old building.
You get to exercise.
Yeah, so I run up and down the stairs, and sometimes they'll come get me. And then as we're walking back to their treatment room, they kind of fill me in on what happened. The patient's not there at that point. So I like that idea of kind of having a lot of that conversation when we're back in the room with the patient present. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and just asking them, like, is there anything I missed, or do you have any more questions? Because when they're sitting there, that's the time. And I mean, I went back and got the doctor as well, because no one can explain anything, clinically better than the doctor. And so I think it even helps your team and empowers them because, you're there to answer the questions, and then it's a slam dunk for them. All they have to do is walk the patient out and do the financials, which that's what the team's great at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So you've spent the time and effort in, from the phone call forward to coming in the office, the actual appointment itself. So now what? I mean, what do we need to do post appointment? I mean, are there things that we should be doing to create a different type of patient experience?
I really think it's the little things. I think patients really have been blown away when they get a post-op call or even a text message from the provider that, you're checking on the patient after a procedure. It really shows them that you care. And I know we talked about it earlier about, the 49ers, and we kind of joked about the fly fishing and what you're having for lunch. But really, I think another thing that keeps the connection alive is posting on social media and, empowering the staff and encouraging them to be able to post funny, personable things on the platforms, because that way, when the patient comes in, they feel like they're part of the dental family and they're excited to ask you about your family trip to New York.
That feels so uncomfortable to me. It really does. And I think most doctors, honestly, but what you're saying, I've learned and found over the years, it's true. I mean, patients will come in and they'll say something like, "Oh, I saw you were, at the Giants game, or you went to the Post Malone concert, or I wanted to go to that. How was it?" Like it it matters to them, and like to me, I'm like, I don't know if I want to know my dentist that well. Like I don't know if it really matters, but it does. And I think we sometimes try to put ourselves too much into the patient's shoes, and we got to realize, like, hey, they're people too, just like we are, and they want to know us like people, and that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one thing I've heard providers say is like, I don't like social media. I don't even have it on my phone. I'm not on it, or I'm just on here to track my kids. I don't use it. And you don't need to use it. That's the great thing. I mean, there's someone that you can nominate in your office and just give them that permission to be able to kind of stalk you and figure out like what are some funny things to post. And with AI these days, it makes it even easier for them. And so it's not something that the doctor has to take on. It's just something that you have to be able to have fun with. And, it's different extremes, right? Where you're posting, from the Post Malone concert, or you're doing a funny dance. Like it doesn't, you don't have to do the dance, but if you want to, that's amazing. But whatever you're willing to share, there's definitely different layers to it for sure.
I think
And our Katie in our office she puts me in some awkward positions, I'll be honest, but people, they like it, I
We
guess. I
love
don't know.
it.
It's great.
Yes. We
I'm
love
go-
the Katies in the
I'm
office.
gonna need someone like that because I'm the person you were just talking about, Sheila. Like, I think the last time I checked Facebook was, I don't know, I wrote a book a long time ago and the publisher told me I needed to get a presence online. I think that was the last time. It's been a long, long time. So I got to improve on that. But I do like the
I'm
part,
just going to have you copy Bill Dorfman. What he does, you do, Craig. So a
yeah.
little more working out. A little
Yes,
more
Yeah.
working
you'll
out
need a
is what I'm
six
going to say.
pack. You'll definitely need a six pack and some Calvin Kleins, but I believe
We
in
love
you.
you, Bill.
Yeah.
You raised the
Well,
bar for all of us.
hopefully Bill will listen to this and then he'll send me some pointers for sure.
There you go.
So I like the part that you said that about feeling like they're part of the family. And I think that obviously what you just described is one way to do that. We've loved having our office. My dad was a dentist for years and years and years, starting in 1974. We have people who have been coming to see me for that long. So, I mean, do the math, right? Like we're beyond. I've only been there for 25 years, but they've been coming to our office for 40 plus years, and they just feel like they would never go anywhere else. So, it's just kind of fun to see that family feel is real. I think it's really important.
Yeah, and then they're having kids and their kids are graduating and
Mm-hmm.
those kids are having kids. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, good. All right. So here's just maybe some quick fire questions. Maybe you're just going to have some, I don't know, 1 or 2 sentence answers, but we'll try a couple here. So, what's one common mistake that I should stop doing, like as a dentist, that frustrates patients?
I would say don't have the patients repeat themselves and include them in the
Okay.
handoff.
Okay. Similar to what we talked about earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
What's a tweak that we can make, just a small one, baby steps, that you think would have the biggest impact?
I would say just take the moment to connect, be someone who they like and they trust, and they're going to schedule any treatment with you. So, and then they'll tell their friends and family, and the whole community will be singing your praises. So, just take that moment. I know, you have to go from exam room to exam room, and it can be exhausting, but it really pays off just taking that time to connect with them on something other than what they're in there for.
Okay. That's a good answer, too. Okay, so now after everything we've talked about today, looking at patients in general, but I guess mainly sometimes new patients, because those are the ones that don't already feel connected and part of that family. So you're trying to bring them in, right, and help them to love the office that you're in. So what will the ultimate patient experience be like? And then I guess what does that create moving forward?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely creates an amazing patient base, that's for sure. We talked about, those referrals and having their friends and family come in. So I think creating a really good patient experience is something that people will tell their friends and family about, and that will grow the practice in itself. But I often hear, and I know that we have some practices within Gen4 that are all fee for service, meaning that we're out of network with all insurance. And that's a really big goal for the providers. And in order to do that, the first step is to have a strong patient base. So making it where the patient doesn't care if you're in or out of network because they know that you're the best and they have value in that. So I know me personally, I was recommended to my primary care by a friend of mine and they're out of network, and that doesn't matter to me because I know I'm getting the best care. So if we can create the best patient experience, then as the dentist, you'll have more autonomy and freedom. And so I think it's really worth something investing in for sure.
Like I said in the beginning, we are very lucky at Gen4 to have Sheila and have really this commitment within the organization to the patient experience. And the reality is, no matter how good of a dentist you or we are, if you don't create a good experience for patients, it's hard to get more patients, right? And that's crucial to our success as clinicians, is having patients coming through the door for us to do our services on. So I'd like to give a little challenge out to, and unfortunately, only our Gen 4 colleagues could take advantage of this. But if you really want to dive into this and you really want to get Sheila and her expertise and the team involved, reach out. and they can actually do what's called assessment of the new patient journey. So reach out to the patient experience team, have them do the evaluation, the assessment. They can dive in with your practice, your team, and see what's working, what's not, and give some recommendations anywhere from the phone skills to like you talked about, Sheila, when the new patient goes through the handoff process, etc. So do reach out. Please take advantage of that. And Sheila, if you had someone that's even kind of thinking about this, and if they wanted to just get some information, even to find out what you offer, should they email you? What's the best thing to get a hold of you?
Email would be great. And then also we do have a patient experience hub, and there's a lot of training videos on there. You can sign up your team members on there for different trainings that you feel like, maybe you have a front office that you feel like could really use the phone skills training, or, you think that you have another team member that, isn't doing so well, and we can use a patient experience in-office visit. Whatever it is that you're looking for, we're here to support. Like Dr. Packer had mentioned, I came in as a secret shopper at his practice, and from start to finish, I wanted to see what it felt like to be a patient at Rock Hotel, and then was able to report back to him and say, okay, this is what was great, this is what wasn't great. And then in the end, somehow we ended up doing like this big cleanup where, everybody helped clean up, and we got rid of a lot of things, and it really helped the culture of the practice. So it's not just about one thing. We definitely take a holistic approach. So reach out. I'll send you the link to the hub so that you can provide it to the clinicians. And yeah, I'm always here to help and happy to be here.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, some of the feedback we got was that maybe it was a little bit cluttered at the office. So we decluttered and deep cleaned. It's a building from the 1850s, and we wanted to make it look like it was not from the 1850s in some ways, I guess good and bad. And so it was really great. And I was actually going to make a joke, Sheila. I think this is true. You might get more tooth cleanings than anyone in the country.
Yes, that is true. Yes, that is definitely true.
Yeah, going from place to place and just checking it all out. So
yeah, anyway. Well, in the end, it's not just about the treatment. It's really about the relationship, and that starts from day one. And so it's really nice to be able to have that experience and do the phone calls and go into the offices and see what does it really feel like to be a patient. So I'm really excited to continue our growth in our team and, help patients all around.
Yeah.
Okay, docs. There's no excuse. Reach out to Sheila. I mean, my goodness, we're so lucky to have you in the organization. We appreciate your commitment to the patient experience and to our patients in general, and helping us make sure we're best of the best as far as our practices and how we handle it and take care of people. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You're the best. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of the Dental Forecast. And we're excited to have more amazing episodes like this one moving forward. See y'all soon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.